Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 209.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about planning your life like a billionaire. You know by now, I love talking about mindset. And at the very beginning of my podcasts, I started out sharing a lot about mindset, and I had several mindset episodes. So if you haven't listened to those, I strongly encourage you to listen to roughly the first 10 or 15 episodes where there were several about mindset. And you also know in the 6 steps to wealth, creating a wealthy mindset is step number 1. And I get a lot of that because in my real life and in my life experience, it came from learning about it through the book Think and Grow Rich when I was really young and reading it when I was 10 years old. So I've always been one to read a lot of mindset books and really understand there's so much more power in our mind. And even today, I study about physics and quantum physics and collapsing the wave structure. And there's so many things that I study and learn about now because I'm fascinated by learning more about how our expectations create our reality. So when I ran across this story of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, who's from my hometown in Seattle, I thought I had to share this with you and talk a little bit about mindset and share with you how billionaires, or in this case, one billionaire, decided to plan his life and how he changed history by the way he thought. So I was reading this article about Jeff Bezos, and you may know that Jeff Bezos was a successful investment banker. He worked for D.E. Shaw, one of the largest and most successful hedge fund managers in the world. That means he made a boatload full of money. I don't know how much, but probably close to 7 figures, I would guess. And most of that money comes at the end of the year for hedge fund managers. It comes toward at the end of the year or the beginning of the new year so that all of Wall Street gets to tally up everything, and then they establish their bonuses. So by leaving in the middle of the year, he left quite a lot of money on the table. But here was the thing. He had this idea about starting an online book company through the internet, which at that time was pretty new. I know it's hard to think back to a time that the internet didn't exist, but there was that day. And he was talking to his boss about what he wanted to do, that he wanted to start this online book selling company. And his boss and he took a walk through Central Park and talked about it for a couple of hours. And his boss said, I think it's a great idea. I think it could be really successful. I just think it should be done for someone else or by someone else who is an expert in that area and not someone who's really good at hedge funds like you are. So Jeff went off and said, well, let me think about it for 48 hours and then I'll give you my decision. And here's how he decided to make his decision. He basically said he projected his life forward to age 80 and thought of himself as an 80-year-old looking back upon his life. And he realized if he were 80 years old and he were to look back on his life, he wouldn't regret being a failure. He wouldn't regret it if he failed. If it didn't work out, he wouldn't regret that. He wouldn't regret trying to participate in the internet or doing something new in the internet. That wouldn't be something he would regret. But he said the one thing he would regret is not having tried this idea, and that would actually haunt him every single day. And I really like that idea because you have to know, what is it that you are going to regret at the end of your life? You probably aren't going to regret any failure. I don't think any of us would really regret any failure. But we would have deep regrets about not having tried. And in his case, just think about not only his fortune of billions and billions of dollars and being one of the richest men in the world that he has now become from this, but also all the lives he's changed, the retail shopping structure he's changed and continues to change. Possibly by now moving into drones delivering our items, maybe even the same day that we order them. So he continues to change retail. He continues to change the world and make a huge difference. For that, he received a ginormous reward of becoming one of the richest men in the world. But not everything's about money. And in his case, he didn't even talk about money. In fact, the only time he talked about money was the fact that he'd have to give up his bonus and walk away from his bonus because he left in the middle of the year. And he said that kind of thing gets to you because it serves as confusion, because you have these pieces of things that are happening like that. Walking away from your bonus can just seem like confusion. So he said, it's better to think long term in order to make these decisions that you won't regret later. And I think what he said was brilliant. I think his thought process was exactly correct. If there's something you've been thinking about that you want to do, or something you want to know more about or learn more about, I call those taps on the shoulder. And those are things that I think we're being urged to find out about and study and go down a rabbit hole or a different path. There's all kinds of things in life that we may not understand intellectually, but we may have a calling for something. And I just would encourage you to use this regret minimization framework like the billionaire Jeff Bezos did and see what happens for you. There's a short video of Jeff talking about this that I'm going to put on my show notes on my website at lindapjones.com, episode 209, and you can go and listen to the video if you'd like. It's just a couple minutes long, but it's really great with Jeff talking about this whole matter. So I thought I would just share with you that message of intent, the message of mindset. Who knows what idea you might have that could be the next great idea that the world is waiting for. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.